So everything you've heard about what Apple might do with the iPhone 18 and its Face ID may and may not happen, according to some new leaks. Those of you wanting more than 3 Galaxy S units might just have found some official confirmation of the opposite, along with colors. That Creaseless Samsung display for the next generation Galaxy Z Fold8 has already begun to show its face. Sony just pretty much shocked the Bravia TV-loving world with a new joint venture with TCL that might actually be more genius than you think. And yes, we have some crazy rumors about what's to come for the OnePlus 16, and we also did hear about the drama. I'm Jaime Rivera, and it's time again for these 5 interesting topics. This is TechBriefing powered by MediaTek. The official news today are, well, completely unexpected. I mean, for years, Sony has been regarded as a trendsetter and brand to beat when it comes to TVs, and well, at the same time, we got to see Samsung and LG eat its lunch in the premium sector, and then TCL just own the flagship killer segment, only to now match every company in every tier. Well, believe it or not, Sony just announced plans to spin out its TV and home audio business into a new joint venture in which TCL will hold a 51% controlling stake, while Sony retains 49%. Yeah, that's code for TCL now calls the shots, or will soon. Under the agreement, TCL will take on lead manufacturing, logistics, and large-scale operations, while Sony contributes its picture processing, audio expertise, brand value, and product design know-how. So yeah, I had a few questions for myself, but in summary, this joint venture will continue to sell products under the Sony and Bravia names, positioning them as premium offerings backed by both companies' strengths. Now, as far as timing, yes, nothing will change immediately as the deal is still being finalized and the joint venture is not expected to become operational until April 2027, pending regulatory approval. Right, the spring, which is when TVs usually launch. At this point, it's hard to predict if this means Sony Bravias will get more affordable, as TCL hasn't really needed to piggyback on branding to make its TVs more premium. What TCL has mastered is in pulling it off at a way more affordable price point, so I do see how this could lead to a leaner Sony to pick the division back up. I'm curious to know what you think about this in the comments. Now let's switch to OnePlus, as we started the week with some good and some controversial news if you're keeping up. On the positive front, even if the OnePlus 16 is still months away, it seems rumors have already begun calling out what we're getting. So remember the OnePlus Turbo phones that were bringing insane battery sizes, though to mid-range audiences of sorts? Well, according to a new tip, the OnePlus 16 will feature a massive 9,000 mAh battery, which, yeah, is insane as a jump when compared to the 7,300 mAh power pack on the OnePlus 15. But seriously, also when you consider that every other flagship in the market is not offering anything even close. And yet OnePlus somehow manages to keep the footprint of the phone in line with every single one of those other companies, or lighter in some cases. Obviously, yeah, charging is a big problem when you have a battery that large, but it seems the company thought of that too, or has been for years. We hear the phone supports ultra-fast 120-watt charging, which we've sort of seen before, but with some regional limitations. Other specs also mention the possibility of a 200-megapixel primary rear camera, and then also the highest refresh rate for a phone on its display. The launch is expected in October, but I know what you're thinking. About the negative part, I also read the article about the company being dismantled and stuff, and yes, I even heard the OnePlus Open 2 is canceled. Listen, I wish I could say more, but right now we're struggling to figure out if this is a rumor or a speculation from the sources. I'm curious to know what you think about all this in the comments. Now let's switch to Samsung, as what's coming for its next batch of foldables is now beginning to show. If you remember, we've been covering rumors about a creaseless iPhone Fold, which is using a Samsung panel to pull it off, and that Samsung would launch the technology first, maybe? Well, at CES 2026, Samsung's display division briefly showcased an advanced creaseless foldable display that showed a dramatic reduction in crease visibility compared to the current Galaxy Z Fold hardware. Guys, I was actually scheduled for this demo and couldn't make it. I did regret it later because the panel was quickly removed from the demo. Obviously, yes, its appearance sparked reports given all the rumors that we've been covering for months. According to supply chain reports, Samsung's approach combines multiple structural changes. One involves laser drilled perforations pins in the backplate, which is what we heard before, but now we hear how it works. Apparently, this allows the panel to flex more evenly and distribute folding stress across the display instead of concentrating it at the center. In addition, Samsung is reportedly experimenting with a second layer of ultra-thin glass. Currently, Galaxy Folds already use UTG beneath the plastic protective layer, but adding another UTG sheet above the backplate could further stabilize the panel and reduce wrinkles. While it is unclear if this exact structure was used in the CES demo, past improvements from UTG adoption suggest this layered approach could significantly improve display uniformity. I'm curious to know if this change is something that you would like to see in the comments, because I mean, at this point, I've gotten used to it. But hey, let's continue with Samsung as more information continues to emerge on what to expect for the company's Galaxy S26 series, though this time from an in-house leak. A promotional PDF published by Samsung Colombia indicates that the Galaxy S26 series will consist of the Galaxy S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra with no mention of the S26 Pro or Edge. Yeah, this pretty much puts those rumors of additional devices to rest, though it doesn't mean the company won't want to consider it for later. I doubt it though, given how the latter launch of the Edge totally threw its possibilities of succeeding out the window, but we'll see, as it has worked for its fan edition phones. Meanwhile, you gotta love how leakers continue to bring new information on what to expect for the Galaxy S26 Ultra ahead of the company's Unpacked event. Images shared by leaker Ice Universe show SIM card trays revealing 4 color options: black, white, blue, and purple. Right, notice, no orange as rumors claimed earlier. These are expected to be marketed as Black Shadow, White Shadow, Glacial Blue, and Ultraviolet. We did hear multiple sources refute the possibility of an orange for various reasons, and let's face it, Samsung has already done it before with its exclusive colors for the S24 series. Maybe the only problem here is that the renders of the S26 Ultra in all 4 colors further reinforce this refined but restrained color lineup, which I do agree with many has gotten a tad boring. I'm curious to know what colors you would like to see in the comments. Now, before we get to the hottest news, let me tell you about today's sponsor, MediaTek. This is the second year where Motorola chooses Dimensity for its most beloved Razr, and I can see why. Last year's model proved to be great in performance and endurance, and this year's Razr has only gotten better with its Dimensity 7400X and its advanced 4nm architecture. Seriously, this phone has got the looks, has the feel, but then all this is matched with snappy performance, reliable connectivity, and even better endurance on its slim form factor. It's clearly the reason Motorola continues to trust MediaTek year over year. Thanks to MediaTek for sponsoring this video. And finally, for the hottest news today, let's talk about iPhone 18 series and discuss the back and forth that's been happening on the internet lately. A new supply chain report from ET News claims that Apple will introduce advanced LTPO Plus OLED panels with the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max. These displays are said to be more power efficient and crucially allow some Face ID components, specifically the infrared flood illuminator, to move under the screen. So yeah, that aligns with the previous rumors I covered the other day, but that's not all. While this shift would enable a smaller dynamic island rather than a full redesign, that last part is the most important. See, recent leaks have also clarified confusion about the front camera layout. According to Weibo leaker Instant Digital, reports of a top left hole punch camera stemmed from mistranslations. Instead, only the IR flood illuminator is expected to move under the display, while the dot projector, IR camera, and selfie camera remain centered within a small pill-shaped dynamic island. So yeah, this new interpretation challenges claims that the dynamic island would disappear entirely and just be a punch hole on the side of the screen. It might still be centered, but just smaller. Also, LTPO Plus production would also limit Apple suppliers to Samsung and LG, potentially excluding BOE from the Pro models, while non-Pro iPhones may still use BOE panels. Heck, we even hear all devices are moving to 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM. Regardless, in today's question, let me know. Do you want the camera punch hole to move to a corner, or will you prefer it centered? Because in my case, a punch hole is a punch hole, no matter where. So long as the functionality is good, I'm fine wherever. I'm curious to know what you would like to see in the comments. Friends, again, thank you so much for joining on this new episode of Tech Briefing. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments, as I'm sure you've seen me try to respond to as many as I can. Also, follow me on social media as more behind-the-scenes work continues to happen there. Guys, there is more CES content still coming. Crazy how this show was ruined years ago with vaporware, but now we have so much cool stuff being launched. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.